Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to tournament poker strategy. And now, here are your hosts, Ron Fezbuddy and Killingbird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Killingbird here with you, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ron Fezbuddy. How are you, dude?
Good evening, good sir.
Good evening.
I say good day, sir.
So,
Always wanted to say that on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. That could be our whole new intro. We'll just do that every time. Reproduce that one.
That's funny.
So how you been? Everything good?
Everything is going well. I'm hanging in there. How about you?
Very well. Busy, man. Like, so much stuff going on. I feel like ever since I got back from Vegas, actually, like, things have just been really busy. I guess it's only been 2 months that I've been back, but yeah, like, just lots of, like, small trips and lots of, like, TP work and grinding. And
you've been doing a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I've been, I don't know why. It's, like, really random timing. Like, all of a sudden I got asked to do, like, I don't even remember what the last one was that I was on.
Today? Didn't you do one today?
I did one today. I did it's called the Top 2 Poker Podcast.
Yeah.
Did that one today. I also did one that was not poker related. It was actually it's a podcast about the old record label I worked at.
Ah, nice.
Called the Tooth and Nail Records Podcast. So I did that one. But yeah, it's been and I did the Heads Up Poker Podcast with our good old friends Steve and Mike. So yeah. Yeah, it's been busy with podcasting. Like, yeah, it's just been crazy. I don't know. I feel like I have no time. I had a lot of big events going on at the brewery that I work at.
Right.
So yeah, I'm actually really excited because next week I think is going to be like pretty quiet, and I might not even play poker. I might just literally like chill and relax for 4 or 5 days.
And how is poker going?
Poker's actually been pretty good. I think I mentioned on the last podcast that I was on the tail end of like a really long downswing that kind of basically like went all the way to Vegas, and then I was slowly like coming out of it in Vegas.
Right.
And now, I've erased almost half of it, so we're not out. We're not like we're not having like this amazing giant upswing, but we're erasing the downswing.
But
so,
you can see land.
Yes, yeah. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right,
so
right.
I've kind of changed up my grind patterns a little bit, I guess. Like I've stopped. This is actually kind of interesting to talk about, because I talked about this on the podcast today that I did. I've actually stopped playing on Bovada, which is now Ignition.
Did that actually change or over? Like when you go to Bovada, you get an Ignition as new software and all that?
Yeah, like if you try to log into Bovada, it just won't let you log in, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to transfer all your stuff over to Ignition, which I haven't even done because I had basically busted my roll on there anyway.
Right.
And I just decided I wasn't going to play anymore because I can't stand the non-synchronized breaks.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, I've just decided they're way too important to me.
Yeah.
Take.
The other networks really, I guess ACR network, Winning Poker, right? They're the same network. Those that seems to have really picked up the slack anyway, right?
Yeah, they have so many good tournaments now, especially on they do like a Tuesday and a Thursday sort of not series, but they have like special events those nights. And like I can fill my evening just on that and sprinkle in a little carbon for fun, and I have enough.
Yep.
And especially when I'm streaming, like it's so brutal not to have breaks because you're not only are you playing for 55 minutes, but you're talking the whole time.
Yeah.
And so literally like if you're on Bovada, you do it for 12 straight hours or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's too much.
No time to like walk away and take a break. So so that's kind of the big change in my my poker grind, but it seems to be working for me. Like I just feel better. I feel more relaxed, not as sore at the end of my sessions, etc.
Nice.
So it's been pretty decent.
Cool. Any live poker coming up for you?
So a little bit, sort of, not like anything fancy. So I'm heading to Vegas, basically with like friends of mine that I play in a home game with. But it's like a very non-serious poker trip. So we're going for like 3 days, basically just going to play like some dailies or nightlies or whatever's running in town at the time. But no, like, it's not like a circuit event or a Heartland Poker Tour or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because it'll really be the first live poker I've played. I was going to say since Vegas, but even since before then, that isn't serious.
Right.
Like it'll be fun to go play like a $150 Aria or something and just not really
Yeah.
care that much.
And
I mean, obviously I'll try.
And do it with your buddies or whatever. It's just kind of like
have some drinks and kick back and just have a good time, as opposed to WSOP events and stuff where you're it's kind of stressful and you're hyper focused the whole time. So I'm kind of looking forward to that aspect of it. So I'll be out there like mid-November. So if anybody is there or lives there or going to be there, hit me up. Love to grab a drink.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I think I wasn't able to make it out to this last Borgata, series where they have the great $500 big guarantee tournaments. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go to the fall one in November. I'm not. They haven't released the schedule yet, but I think I can't find the schedule right now, so I'm not sure. Like they didn't release the schedule, but I think they put the dates out where it was. I think November 8th through the 23rd. That's just my memory. I could be wrong, but I think that's when it's going to be. So I think I'm going to try to go to that. I know Fox was doing a small series. Foxwoods sucks. Everyone hates Foxwoods, and it's really not great. But I don't know. It's a couple hundred people usually. They do like a $500K guarantee, $600 buy-in. So it's a pretty good tournament, and they're usually pretty.
It's probably softer than.
It's softer than Borgata. It's and for me, for where I live, it's a little more convenient. And they're doing one of those at the end of October. So I'll go to one of those, either the Foxwoods or the Borgata. Leaning towards the Borgata right now, just because I'm lured by that big guarantee. Usually they do the $1 million or $2 million guarantees. But yeah, I'll definitely head out for one of those. So we're probably gonna, especially if I go to the Borgata, we'll do an episode before that because November 9 will be coming up around that time, and we always like to do an episode around that. So I'll keep you guys posted. Any TP members in the going to either of those, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I'd love to meet up.
Yeah. Did you by chance see that Poker Stars event that's running in Atlantic City?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I didn't think I could make it work with my schedule. I was interested in that, actually. I take that back. That might, I knew there was another series out there that I wanted to go to, and I couldn't remember.
I actually looked at it, and I was kind of like, oh, that might be cool to go to. Like, more from, like, I guess, like, from a TPE/business standpoint, like, just to go see what it's all about, see what kind of crowd it draws, who's there. I thought it might just be a cool opportunity from that standpoint. But, the events they were running seemed decent. Like, the buy-ins weren't massive or anything. Just kind of good medium-level buy-ins. But I don't really know that casino that it's at. Like, I've only ever really played at Harrah's.
It's at resorts. It's just another it's just another standard, AC casino.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably just in their conference room.
It's probably, and it's not anything like exciting. Oh, right, yes, I totally forgot about this. So I wish I could see the guarantees or whatever, but there's a 340 buy-in, a 1K buy-in, a 2.2K buy-in, and a 230 buy-in, and there's no guarantees. I think. It's hard to say.
It's hard to pass up those big guarantees. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have guarantees, but I'm sure they're not like the Borgata.
Yeah.
But so something I considered, but it's gonna have to wait because it's kind of close to my Vegas trip. So
yeah, that's too bad. We used to. I mean, going way back, we used to TPE even before TPE with our old group of buddies, the LOL Nice Squeeze crew. We used to always go to AC and do a sort of a meetup there. Around the WSOP circuit event there, that was always fun.
Those were always good times. I've kind of stopped. I used to, even after that, I kept going to AC pretty much for a circuit event every year.
Right.
But now that North Carolina gets 3 of them, it's kind of like, it's not really worth. I mean, obviously, it would be great to see you and to see other New York people that I don't ever get to see, but or New Jersey people, whatever. But it's just, if I'm already doing the World Series in Vegas and then 3 circuit events, it's kind of like adding another 1 or 2 on is tough. So.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like, you used to have to go there for where you live. That was one of the only places you could go for live. But you just have so many options now.
Yeah, it's so much easier. But I do miss those fun nights in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Those were good times. I miss the Irish pub mostly. That's my favorite spot. So.
Yes, that was fun. And what about, speaking of live, have you been watching the main event?
I have a little bit. Yeah, I'm anxious to talk to Mark and Casey about it and get their thoughts as well. I don't. It's interesting to me. I don't know. I don't enjoy television poker as much as I used to, and I don't know if that's me or if that's television poker changing. But I remember, and I think we've talked about this maybe on like old ones. I mean, I used to pay for the pay-per-view.
Right.
I would stay up however long that would last. It should be like 12 hours or whatever. I would never miss an episode. And now it's kind of like, if I miss one, I don't really worry about it. Maybe I'll catch it on YouTube later.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just like because I'm way more immersed in poker now than I was back then, that it's not as unique and interesting.
Right.
Or if it's just that it's changed so much. Like, I don't know. I miss the days of being psyched about it for sure.
Right. Well, the main event
I
is.
don't know if you feel similar.
No, the main event, the live final table, I think is still pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I still actually get a lot. I still really enjoy the main event cover. Like I tried to watch the Circuit Championship, the first 2 episodes they did.
Yeah.
I tried to watch that, especially since Carlos was on it.
Oh, right.
So much. Yeah. It's just. I don't know. Like without the production value, it's really hard to watch. I used to watch a lot of the WPTs. I can't watch those really anymore. But I do still like the main event. And it's something that like I'll throw on at the end of the night, every night while it's running, and there's a lot of hours of coverage, and I still enjoy it. So I'm still there, but I can understand like why you wouldn't. But the final table is still one of the most exciting.
Yeah, I do look forward to that still. And I will say, it's funny you mentioned the WPT. I bet I haven't watched a combined total of 2 hours of WPT coverage in the last year.
Yeah, it's just they have not. It's not. It's the same thing as it was 10 years ago, basically. Right. It's just there's nothing. I mean, how many hours of that can you possibly watch before it's just you haven't seen any? You need something different to keep.
It's kind of like a fake final table anyway, because it's not even. It's like 6 instead of 9.
Yeah.
They really kind of still only show the big hands because it's only it's one I guess 2-hour episode or whatever. So you're not getting like the weeks of lead up and coverage.
Right.
Yeah, so it is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of Carlos, not to backtrack, but that reminds me, the other podcast that I was on was Daryl Jace's podcast that he does with Doug Lyford. And me and Carlos were both on that one, so I got to go
nice.
Daryl Jace and make sure people check that one out too. So
very cool.
But yeah, that was fun, and we talked a lot about Carlos being on that rail at the circuit event, and that was pretty hilarious and pretty cool.
So. Well, I bet you will be watching more of the main event now that we're getting into Chris Kusha's time of coverage.
For sure. Yeah, that I won't miss, and I think we're like literally just about to get there. So should be pretty fun to watch. To watch that. Hopefully, he gets a lot of good coverage.
Yep. No spoilers for those who don't know how it ended, but if you listen to our last podcast, you will know.
Yes. Yep. Exactly right. So cool. So I kind of mentioned it earlier, but we're going to bring Mark Aliato and bigdogpckt5s in to talk some hands. Nice. I have brought some hands in today. It's my turn.
All right.
To get put on the
Baby gets
block.
the beating.
And then I have one hand from one of our members that we'll be talking about.
So, very interesting hand, by the way.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. So I think that's it. We'll go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back with Big Dog Pocket 5s and aznAllin007.
Let's bring in the boys.
We will be right back.
If you are looking for the best MTT training site on the planet, look no further than TournamentPokerEdge.com. Tournament Poker Edge focuses exclusively on multi-table tournaments and features some of the best live and online pros. No waiting through cash game videos looking for the occasional tournament video. Tournament Poker Edge also offers strategy articles, forums, a member chat room, and much more. So visit TournamentPokerEdge.com and start taking your game to the next level now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Time to bring in two of my least favorite Tournament Poker Edge pros. No, that's not true. Two of my favorite people in the world, Mark Alioto, Casey Jarzabek. What's up, guys? Yeah, there's that sound I haven't heard in a long time.
He's back.
How do I make a noise for a rooster?
Oh, is that a rooster?
What
does rooster mean, Mark?
That's my new screen name.
How come?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to love rooster cartoons. That was a great intro, KB. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for. It's been so long since we've been able to trash to each other.
Yes.
I'm excited for it, you know?
On the air, at least.
Yeah, that's true. So let's get caught up a little bit with for the listeners on what you guys have been up with. Mark, let's start with you.
Yeah, so after your birthday in Vegas, I came back, because remember I got sick. I came back and I burnt my esophagus from throwing up. Yeah. So I've just been like, you guys are going to laugh because you won't believe me. I've been like running and like working out and like I quit vaping. I quit.
Whatever, restart this. I can't.
No, like I literally quit vaping. I quit coffee. I actually quit porn for a month. That's just another thing. But yeah, I'm like getting in shape.
Mark, this isn't a support group.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I've just been getting right.
That's good, man.
You know, because my stomach was pretty fucked up when I got, thanks to KB's birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. Well, I was the day before too, so it was a fucking double bender.
That was a tough week.
So you're blaming your entire health problem history on Derek's birthday? That's what I'm getting
I was throwing up in the bathroom, burnt, and I came back, and the doctor was like, "You burnt your esophagus."
Wow.
I know.
That's good, man.
So yeah, no, just been getting in shape and trying to eat healthy, do all that kind of stuff. Still playing some pokers, but yeah, it's been good.
I'm sorry, man. I call pics or I don't believe it.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask for pictures.
Can we put the cam on? Because you guys will see it right away. I'm down 15.
What?
I want to see this.
It's 100%.
Can you tweet? Can you tweet after this podcast is over?
No,
I'll
send it to you guys privately.
No. The listeners want it. How rude are you to the listeners to be talking about sending us the pictures of you but not posting it on Twitter?
And the funny thing is I thought about doing a before and after. Like Derek even said it when he saw me on cam the other day. He thought I looked thinner.
That's true.
Well, I mean, even if this is true, there'll be an after pretty soon because you can't.
Before, after, back to normal. 3 pictures.
It's kind of not fair too because like if we run a mile, it's like X number of steps. But if Mark runs a mile, it's like double that many steps.
Diego, I love how you fucking start laughing before he finishes because all of us knew what the joke was.
I got like half an inch on you, bro.
My little ant leg. Like, fucking...
He actually doesn't even leave the house. He just went and bought a hamster wheel.
Oh my god! I can't. I was trying to be. Start the podcast off all positively.
Yeah.
Life
that's
changes.
really great, Mark. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Casey.
I'm proud of you too, actually, and that's being said.
Yes, I am too. I am legit proud of you.
Believe any of you.
I know. I actually am. Good, man.
All right, I'm not.
I am.
Everybody who's proud of Mark, raise your hand.
Just okay. They're all down. No hand went up.
I wish the visual could be displayed on the podcast. But speaking of getting in shape, Casey, what have you been up to?
Why do we let him
play? I don't believe this, but I've actually been eating healthy, and I burned my esophagus. And, I was eating some pizza, and it was pretty hot. So I'm actually down 20 pounds just because I've been playing Pokemon Go with the wife.
Yeah, you post like maps on Twitter and Facebook like randomly of like a good one to get.
I mean, we literally are into the Pokemon Go. Like, I know it's weird.
No, but actually, on a serious note, like you must be losing weight because you do have to walk around for that.
Yeah,
it's good exercise.
Yeah, I'm down quite a bit. I didn't burn my esophagus or anything like that, but
I wasn't looking for a fucking pity party. Just being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to make fun of the Pokemon Go thing, but the truth is that A, I've been playing too, and B, me and Mark kept stopping. We went to get food in Vegas one night. We must have made 4 stops on the way to get food so we could catch things. We were early on the Pokemon Go train.
Yeah, it came out in the America long before Canada, like a month or so before. So you guys were all on it before us. But since it's come out, I've been pretty heavy. I'm like level 29 now. I've caught almost all of them, and gonna have to.
I'm actually level 33. It's a Supernova Platypus watermelon. Level 37.
Do you play this game, Diego?
If anyone's looking for a poker site partner, I'm making myself available. I'm not want to be associated. No, I don't play it. My 9 and 7-year-old do though, so I can bring them here if you want.
I figured with your kids at the age they're at, you would just have gotten sucked into it because you have to take them places to do it.
Yeah, no, they do. They
have as much to this conversation as you, anyway, Diego.
That's probably true. No, they were on it for a while, but they lost interest. I think a lot of people did. I think I don't know. Is it still popular? I haven't heard much about it in the past couple of weeks.
The problem is with me is once I start something, I got to be the best at it.
Right. So is it bluffing?
Honestly,
can you play it aggro?
You should start exercising.
Whoa. Casey, we can't. The hosts are just murking us tonight. We can't have this.
We actually are not going to talk any strategy today. We just really wanted to get on.
Unless I can be the best at it, I don't do it.
That's true.
Bejeweled Blitz. Remember, Casey, I got an invite every day on Facebook to Bejeweled Blitz. And then he challenged me. No, it's a true story. I was like, I played Angry Birds. He's all, dude, you never beat my score. And I looked at his score. It was 10 times mine. I was like, how do you do this? You literally have to spend 10 hours on it. And then I found out it was Eric, and I felt like even a bigger piece of
that's great. And Casey, you just shipped a package to Aruba, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really busy lately. I've been working on a new project for the last 6 months. If people want to know more details, they can go to ppIpoker.net. Exciting stuff coming with them very soon. Working with a great team, an amazing project, but it's been taking all my time. So I really haven't been playing much poker. But then Full Flush Poker called me up and they said, we want you back on the site, so we're going to give you a free ticket to this Aruba satellite tournament. I said, okay, thanks a lot, appreciate it. And then for shits and giggles, I fired it up Sunday, and it was winner take all, and I won it. So looks like I'll be off to Aruba in the first week of November.
Standard big dog, just I guess I'll play today. Oh, shipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, while drinking beer and watching football. Guaranteed.
I did both of those too.
Very nice.
Well, watching the Redskins, if that counts as football.
Oh, you can.
Okay. How's the Dolphins doing?
Yeah, I had the Dolphins in my suicide pool, KB, and Tannehill's the worst quarterback in the NFL. They're horrible.
You were sweating so bad.
Oh my God, he missed that field goal. Yeah, you guys are horrible.
I actually had Arizona in my suicide this week.
See ya. See ya.
Yeah, it's good times. Cool. I'm trying to think of. Oh, we need to talk. So, the World Series of Poker has started airing.
Yeah.
And I figure we should probably catch up on that a little bit. All of us have sort of watched different portions, but not all, I guess, of the broadcasts up to this point. Did anyone?
I mean, this just happened to me. I had it on DVR. I was watching it last night. I got a half hour in, and then it just switched to Sports Center.
Yeah. If a baseball game goes over, it'll screw up the DVR or something like that. Goes over the time frame.
No, but it started on time. And the first half hour, and then they just at a half hour in, they switched it to Sports Center. I don't know. Maybe something happened.
Which is so weird that they would switch it to Sports Center.
Yeah, maybe something happened.
Find it on demand or watch ESPN.
Yeah, it wasn't on demand yet. They usually take 3 days. So, but I'm up to date until
you know what? I look forward to it too, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've been watching a little bit of it, but the thing is, in Canada, it's behind the States. Everything airs later in Canada. I don't know why. You guys are special over there. I guess.
Yeah, you used to get Gold Rush. Remember Gold Rush? Oh, don't tell me what happened to Jack.
I do. Like, everything's like, unless it's like a mainstream show, like, Gotham or whatever the case may be, or Walking Dead, you guys are always slightly ahead. So you're a week ahead. So I'm a little bit behind you guys, but I have watched some of it, especially because I have some friends that made some runs in that tournament. So I've been.
So I guess the big question is, the Kasuf, is that Kasuf? How do you say his name? William Kasuf, the Brit.
Yeah.
The tanker?
The tanker. And then between him and Alex Keaton, they're both, big table talkers. There's two separate issues there: the tanking and the talking, right? So let's take them each individually. The tanking first. From what I understand, they didn't really, from as far as I've seen, they it's hard to show tanking on TV unless you're really going to show 5-10 minutes of tanking, right? And that's like
it doesn't make good TV.
Doesn't make good TV, so they didn't really show it. But as I was following the news, it seemed like he would take 2-3 minutes pre-flop to act every single time, and then 5 minutes or so on any decision post-flop. I personally think that's horrendous for the game, but it's within his rights to do that. What do you guys think? Are you guys proponents of any means necessary, use every rule to your advantage, or do you think?
I would have probably drilled him after playing for an hour. Like, it is just not good for the game, and for online players, it's already boring enough.
Yeah.
And then just to have some dolt tanking just to tank.
Yeah.
It's pretty annoying. I hope that it leads to a rule change. Like, I understand you should have like at the start of every tournament is everybody should be given, like, in my opinion, something like 3 chips.
Right.
Where you have a minute to act unless you throw a chip in. Then you have you have the normal amount of time unless somebody calls the clock.
Like they've done in the Aria High Rollers, they did that, and I agree with you. I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean, because you just can't have it. It's just the game flow just gets ruined. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to put people into tilt, but it would work for me. It would tilt the shit out of me. Like, I would want to drill him.
Me too. Like, I would go out of my way to play, like, do something. I would punt, like, is what would happen. So in that sense, it's probably a good idea to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, if someone's in a big, like, a key river decision for their tournament life or something like that, I think none of us, like, are talking about that spot. Like, that's completely different. Take your time. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's fine. But if someone opens under the gun and you're second to act with 6-9-0, I mean, like, and like, I don't know, like if he takes a minute, I'd be pissed. Like, 30 seconds is enough time. Like, if you want a 3-bet or something, because obviously it seems like a just fold, but maybe the guy's been opening a lot. But like a minute, 2 minutes, I mean, yeah, that's absurd. Like, and if I had 20 bigs in that spot, now he's kind of messing with my money, especially that deep in a tournament, because those blinds go up and all of a sudden you go from 20 to 16 or whatever. That's
Even
brutal.
if you have 100 bigs and you're seeing 20% less hands because of this guy, it affects it.
Yeah, you're right. It does affect any stack.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, he seems to what I would infer is that he's doing that so that when he does have decisions, he's not giving any, unless he's trying to tilt people. But let's put that aside for a second. Let's assume he's not trying to tilt people. He's just trying to be consistent every single time. And so if he's going to, if you wait 10, 20, 30 seconds before every decision, when you actually do have something you need to think about, then you're not giving away that you actually have something to think about this time.
Yeah, so, my argument to that, Diego, is every time he plays a hand, wait your minute or a minute and a half or 2 minutes, but every time you fold a hand, wait your 15 seconds. Because he's taking and folding.
Right.
Like pre-flop. So if you just want to be consistent, you can consistently fold quick.
Yeah.
And then consistently be a long time actor every time you're actually in a hand.
That's what I was going to ask. So if you're second or third to act and it's folded to you, if you're someone who wants to be consistent every time, fold quick. But then any time that you are going to play the hand, then you take your 30 seconds so that you don't give anything away in terms of how much thought you had to put into this open, right? Yeah. Okay.
Has anyone ever dealt, like Derek, have you ever dealt, or all of you, have any of you ever dealt with someone like that where it was that bad?
Not on every hand. Like, I've dealt with people that, when they are in hands, they act slow and it's kind of annoying. But you can kind of live with it because most people are only paying, like, maybe 20% of hands or whatever the case may be. But when somebody's doing it pre-flop every time, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I would start calling the clock every single time. I would, I would, and I'm very hesitant to call the clock, but if someone's doing it that way, I would just start calling the clock every time it goes to them.
Yeah, but even still, like, you can't call the clock until a reasonable amount of time is passed. So you can't just call the clock at the second it's time for him to act. So you still have to give him his 30, 45 seconds, then call the clock and wait another minute for the clock to expire.
Yeah,
absurd.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with like the 80-year-old old guy who's buying in, and obviously you want him in the tournament, but he's shuffling his chips or his cards, looking at them 3 times under the gun, and then folding 35 seconds. I mean, what do you say? You call the clock on that guy, he never comes back.
Yeah, no, I would not do that. No, I'm talking to someone who's being obnoxious with it.
But that would still be annoying as shit, though. You're like pre-ante, and a guy's taking like literally 45 seconds a hand, like in a win 400. This happened to me. This is why I'm doing it. Like I didn't know what to do. I was just like, man, this sucks. Like
I like to be out of most live tournaments in 6 or 7 minutes. If people are tanking 2 minutes per hand.
I get annoyed after 5 seconds. I can't take it. When someone is clearly going to fold, they just start looking at their hand, and you know that they're folding. It just drives me absolutely nuts. I can't help it.
Just wait until you play with a guy who has to put his laptop down, then look at his cards, then pick his laptop back.
you put Dan Shack on blast already.
I had to give him another blast because it was so fucking annoying.
And that's absurd because he plays everything. And like one of those big shot, like the high rollers, you think they'd say something to him like, "Hey Dan, like, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Luckily, it was day 2, and I busted in 30 minutes. So it didn't matter.
That is lucky, KB.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty convinced that most of the younger people who do this are quite literally doing it because they think it looks cool, or that it's like the hip thing to do because they've watched Tom Dwan do it on TV or whatever.
I think some are making decisions or could be doing it to tilt people. Some people have to be doing that because Casey already said he would lose his shit. I said I would lose mine. We all said we would lose our shit. Like, so in that sense, it's actually kind of smart or plus EV. Like,
well, that's the argument. You're using everything within your power and everything within the rules of the game to gain an advantage.
That's why there needs to be a rule change.
Right, exactly.
Well, what about the talking, though? Let's get into that then, since we talked about the tanking. Like, what about the talking at the table? How does everyone feel
I'm very
about that?
social at the table, so I don't really have a problem with it.
He talks he was talking nonstop through every hand. I don't have a problem with him talking to get information, or I actually don't have a problem with the talking. I think the talking is fine. He would annoy me because he just did not stop talking.
You're talking about Kasuf, not Keating.
Yeah. Well, both of them really. I mean,
see, I played with Keating.
Was he talking about practice?
Practice. Like the way Keating does it, he's like really social about it. Where I've played with him, and I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was like it made the game. I don't know. It was just more fun. Like instead of 9 people on their iPads, like he's talking, and like I guess it could come off annoying if you're having a rough day. But like I don't know. Like I kind of liked it. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't have a problem with the talking either. Like because I want to be talkative too. I don't want to sit there all day.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me so much from the standpoint of like the rules or whether it's I don't know, like if there's an argument that it's inappropriate to do, or like I don't think it's inappropriate. I just don't know that it's I don't know, we used the phrase good for the game earlier. Like I don't know that it's good for the game. Especially because like there was one hand in particular where he was essentially sort of for lack of a better word, like bullying a older female player, and I was just like, this just feels weird.
That's
why are you doing this?
You're talking about or Keating?
Yeah.
Okay.
This Kasuf guy.
Yeah,
Daniel Legrand is one of the most well-known poker players in the world, and he talks a lot at the table.
Yeah,
but
so, I mean, I think there's a way
different.
to do it. If you're bullying people or being obnoxious or interfering with other people that are in hands, then it's different. But if you're just being social and you're just one of those guys that likes to talk, I don't really have an issue with it.
Yeah, it's also possible that I've just gotten older and I'm just a crabby old dude now because I have often said that I wish we could go back to the days of like Mike the Mouth and Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth,
I agree with
the
that.
characters and talking and like all the antics and stuff. But for some reason, that never bothered me, and this sort of new wave of it does, and I'm really not sure why. I think it's actually more me than it is them.
No. I think what Kasuf is doing is wrong. I think some of the stuff he's done is wrong. Keating I can handle, but some of the stuff Kasuf has done has been like, yeah, it's just rude, and it doesn't. I
don't know. I mean, I watched it. I don't have his exact quote here. He didn't.
Wow,
he didn't really say anything.
You're coming, man.
I don't know. One day it's gonna happen. He didn't. I don't think he said anything. He just got under her skin, but he didn't say anything like belligerent or rude or anything out of line. He just was relentless talking to her, and he didn't give her a chance to think. Is right. what it was. So he didn't say. He didn't do anything that was against the rules in the sense of what he said. It was just that he just did not give her room to breathe.
Well, and I think that's the perfect example of what I'm saying is that it just sort of feels wrong or rude because she's making a decision for her tournament life,
right.
And he's literally beaking in her ear the entire time. And I guess there's no rule where you can say, please tell this guy to shut up. I need 2 minutes to think.
Right.
So you just have to sort of think. Well, so where do you draw the line? Like, can you start yelling loudly at them? Can you?
Yeah, but the rule, the problem with the rule is that there's no clear line. The rule is it's a very gray area. It's it's like I actually have it here. Any participant who taunts another participant through theatrics or gestures or engages in any form of inappropriate behavior intended to disrupt other participants in the tournament will be subject to a penalty. I mean, that's just basically up to the tournament staff as to what it is.
You could apply that to life, though. There's plenty of rules in life where you could be like, oh, because it's a rule. Like, it's just, there's morals, like, right?
Right,
like,
that's right.
Wow, that's deep, Mark.
Thank you. Like, that goes along with my burnt esophagus. I told you I'm changed. Yeah, like, but there's plenty of rules in life where you could just be like, fuck this. Like, I know it's wrong, but I'm still going to do it. Like, I don't know. Like,
it's Sunday, but wow.
Right.
Wait, did you just say Sunday?
Well, there is a very specific rule here. It says excessive chatter includes but is not limited to talking or conversation that causes a disruption of participants who are in a hand. Once again, it's a line that a human has to draw, right? So what's a disruption to one person is not a disruption to other. And
Right,
Jack Effel clearly thought it was.
At that point, listen, I need a second to think. He would have had to stop talking to her.
Yeah. What made it worse is that some guy who just got to the table called the clock on her.
Yeah.
Which is the worst. Like, literally, a minute into this guy, well, maybe it was like 4 or 5 minutes, but it was for her tournament life. And this guy just sat at the table, sits down, and, calls the clock on her. And that put her on tilt more than, I think, Kasuf talking.
And the floor actually did tell Kasuf to stop talking.
Yeah.
So then he literally started gesturing. Remember?
Yeah, he started gesturing, right.
You show, I'll show, and he's moving his hands back and forth.
Right.
Right. And then just for double pain, like the next hand, she gets aces and gets it all in against King Jack.
It's awful.
So it's like, here, have a little extra dose of pain and misery.
And then what do you think about the penalty? He had to sit out in orbit.
Well, yeah, I think it was fine, especially because the floor said you need to stop, gesturing towards her, and he just wouldn't stop.
And he just wouldn't stop.
Like,
so you gotta follow the rule once that happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. We have not. So I saw a brief couple of glimpses of Dylan, one of our new pros at the table, but I didn't see any hands that he played. We have not seen Chris Cushing.
No, I saw Chris. There was.
You did?
Yeah, he busted someone. I forget who, but he was in it.
That.
Yeah, it was actually. Maybe it was. You didn't see the last episode, right?
I saw parts of because I also got I got the Arnold Palmer highlights.
That's
in my
what
DVR.
Right. Okay.
So I've seen parts of it, but
yeah,
I don't have to go back to
I've seen somebody else post on that Facebook now that you mentioned the Arnold Palmer thing. So it wasn't just you. It was the death of Arnold Palmer, so it broke into that.
Oh, it broke in. Okay, I see.
And it was a story about him and his passing.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
was he wearing the patch, Kusha? Yeah?
Arnold Palmer?
Wow, are we really going there? This is too soon.
Oh, sorry.
R.I.P. Arnold Palmer, man. Come on.
And how about Jose Fernandez?
I mean, that was a brutal day. Brutal day.
R.I.P. to both those guys, man.
Yeah,
Pretty
really.
sad.
Awful.
No doubt. So hopefully in coming episodes we'll be seeing a lot more of Chris.
Yeah, I think this is when he starts getting some chips. So I don't think he was wearing the patch during this one. I didn't see it at least. So. All right. Well, I wish we could talk more about the WSOP, but no one got to see the last episode and a half. So more to come on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do a podcast around the November 9 for sure, and we'll make sure and recap a lot more of like actual hands and stuff.
Casey Casey knows like 3 guys at the final table, right? Casey, like all the Canadians, right?
Real quickly, spoiler alert: if we're going to talk about who's at the final table, there may be some people who don't
actually.
Know.
Okay, never mind. Scratch.
No, we could talk about it, but
we're done.
All right, I'm at the final table.
This just in. No, that's actually a good point, though. And I think we will do an episode around the November 9th, so maybe we just talk about them then.
Yep.
Because there are definitely people who are watching it without knowing, so we might as well not do that.
Wah. All right.
Me.
That's okay. I'll still know them when we do the next podcast.
Fair enough.
Maybe. Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into some hands, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So I have been playing a fair amount of the pokers lately.
Nice.
So I have some
for the
hands.
poker community as a whole.
What? Who?
That's good for the poker community as a whole. Spread some money around.
It's good for everybody but me, apparently. So let's jump into some of these. So these are actually, I believe, all from America's Card Room, varying buy-in. So this first hand is actually from, not that I can see it because Gaiazzo is putting an ad over my hand history.
Oh, Gaiazzo.
Shout out to Gaiazzo.
Gaiazzo. They're our latest sponsor. So this is in the 3K guarantee. It's a 33 3K, as I remember correctly. Fairly early, we're at 150,300. I have 9,620 units. Villain in his hand is a person who I have played with quite a bit. His name is on the side is Brokefinger1, and we have Pocket Queens. Now, if I can just figure out where we are in the
Fold pre.
Definitely fold pre.
I think
I just realized
you're in the big blind, right? No, you're not. Sorry, you're second to act.
I realized I can. I realized I can actually replay them on the replayer, which is.
No, you're really good at this. It's really good.
Well, I've never done hand history reviews on podcasts.
It's like he's been doing podcasts for years.
All right, so we are under the gun. We're under the gun +1. But we're actually missing 3 people from the table, so we must be like getting ready to like merge tables or something weird like that. So we're under the gun +1. Under the gun folds. We raise to 699. Villain Brokefinger1 is immediately to our left. He makes it 1488. It folds back around us. And what do you guys think we should be doing here?
I mean, we started the hand with 32 bigs. I think is important.
We start with 32 bigs. I also have the HUD stats. So to show you how much I've played with this person, these are his numbers over 5K hands. He's running 17-13 with a 6% 3-bet.
Yeah, he's a reg. Brokefinger's been around for a bit. I mean, I'll start, Casey, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick question before you start. Any dynamic between you guys? Like, you obviously know him, but does he know you?
Yeah, I would say he definitely knows me. Probably thinks of me as a fairly tight reg.
Okay.
Yeah, they played 5K hands together, Diego.
Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, what is going on? Let the pros handle this, all right?
I am aware that he knows. I was asking what his image of KB would be.
Yeah, I think it would. I would say it would be in this case it would be based much more on our sort of extensive history as opposed to this specific tournament, especially since it's 150-300 and we're both sort of on the tighter side. I mean, we're both running. I mean, so in this tournament I'm running 16-10, so that tells you how sort of tight I'm playing.
Yeah, I mean the key here is you're 6-handed. You have like top 5% hand and 32 bigs. Yes, your image is tight. I mean, if he has 5K hands with you, like. He's going to know you're more on the tighter side. You still have a premium, and it's just a shove. Like, really easy, just shove. Like 4-bet shove, all in. Mm-hmm. You could induce, which I think is totally fine, and I think that's probably better on you. I mean, whatever. I would just shove. I think both are fine. I think calling is the worst option. Oh, no, folding is the worst option. Calling second worst.
Okay.
Yeah, I would even can I just chime in and get your opinion here? I mean, I would just shove just because maybe it looks a little weaker. If I make it like, 4K and I have 5K behind, then I'm clearly, ready to get it in, and it seems like I'm maybe just inducing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we were to 4-bet like small to induce, we could make it, like 2,400 where he has fold equity. Wouldn't make it 4K. But
I guess you're right.
Shoving looks the weakest, and you can still get called by 8s and stuff, and there's a lot of bad boards for some of his 3-betting range. So yeah, I'm not trying to turn our hand into a bluff or anything. We want to get called, obviously, but I kind of doubt he's ever 3-bet folding here. To Derek, especially off those tight stats.
Right.
And I think we beat a lot of his 3-bet calling range. Yeah.
Yeah. You in agreement with all that, Casey?
Unfortunately, I hate agreeing with my very two small colleagues here. It is a standard 4-bet jam. There is no other play. You're 6-handed. You have 30 bigs. You have queen. This guy has a broken finger.
I called, and I'll explain why I think I did it. Although, it's not like I have notes on the specific.
Turn off the podcast. That's it. I'll see you guys.
We're out. So, and I've actually, I don't know, I probably do this more than I should. In my mind, we've played so many hands together that, when I shove, I pretty much have 4 hands.
4?
It's just because, I'm running 16-10. I'm gonna have 10s plus ace king plus.
Let's not kid anyone. You're not running anywhere.
I'm not what?
Making fun of me.
You said you were running 16-10, and no, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. So part of me kind of wants to not get him, not somehow get him to fold 9s. But now that I'm hearing you guys talk, I also run the risk of getting him to fold those posts when it comes ace king 10 or whatever,
Yeah, and he's not 3-betting folding 9s, 10s, or jacks here. He's 3-bet calling those.
And Derek, you realize you're opening 10% of hands and he's 3-betting you. So, if you're going to use that, he knows what you're doing, you're opening 10% of hands. If he's 3-betting you, it's probably not light. And,
and you're 6-handed, and he's the chip leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me play devil's advocate and try to save Derek a little bit.
There's no devil's here. This is a standard.
Is there a situation where this is always going to be kings and aces only? Is there a profile of player where you can make the argument that you're never getting raised here by someone it's an 80-year-old man or the World Series, the main event or something?
I guess there's always a dynamic like that, but I'm thinking online, even if you do have 5,000 hands with him and it's suddenly 6-handed and this is the chip leader, it just seems like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Say Derek opened here and Casey 3-bet, I could see flatting and just calling off on any board just to let Casey punt. Because, against Bill... Oh, you've never Reggie Robit in your life. No, I think... One time, oh my God. I think against aggressive players, really, really aggressive players, we could flat here. And if you had, aces here, I could see flatting as being good as well. Or kings. Queens is just super vulnerable. He's got a lot of ace-X in his range, just using it as a blocker for when he 3-bets. So, yeah, versus specific player, just getting it in, and pretty sure he's going to call, most of the time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like flatting is a mistake, and that's what we did, and that's why we're the host of the podcast and not the pros. I shouldn't let Diego into my bad play. But let's go ahead and move through the hand as played. So we flat. So there's 3,600 in the pot, and the flop comes ace 7 ace with 2 hearts. and we are first to act. Now we have just over 8K behind. He has heaps. He has 23K.
And there's 3K in the pot?
Yeah. Actually, 3,600 in the pot.
Okay. I'll let Casey go.
Well, he bets a third. I mean, you check call. He bets 1,200, and you call. I think that's fine as played. I see no reason to raise, get it in here. Maybe you can get to a cheap showdown. There's 2 aces on the board. I think check calling is probably right, especially if he's only going to bet 33% of the pot. I think that's fine.
Never ever leading here.
No, I can't even fathom a good reason to lead.
So I lead. No, I don't. No. So as Casey said, yeah, we go ahead and check. Brokefinger bets 1,200. And Mark, I assume you agree. Like we should never be raising here.
Yeah, no, just check call. It's good.
Okay. Turn is a 7 of diamonds. So now the board is ace 7, 2 hearts, 1 spade, 1 diamond. Not that it probably matters too much in this hand, but I should mention that we do have the queen of hearts. So I don't think it's a huge factor. There's now 6K in the pot.
Oh, no, Derek, that matters. That's important. It's good you say that because that's a blocker to a flush draw.
That doesn't really
matter. So there's 6,010 in the pot. We have 6,900. Checking again.
Yep.
Yeah, I am. I was waiting for Casey. But
Same reasoning on the flop as the turn. You check again. It makes sense.
Yep. And now Brokefinger checks back. The river is blank, the 2 of clubs. So I got 8, 6, 7, 2.
We don't have the exact pot, so it could be like exactly a pot size shove on the river.
I'm actually playing it back in the replayer, so I have the exact pot. It's 6,010.
And that's exactly okay.
And we have 6,900 back. So yeah, basically almost exactly.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is there an argument here for leading? Is there, if he has 9s, 10s, jacks, he may check back?
Well, if he has 9s, 10s, or jacks, you're winning, so why would you lead?
It's because he might call, because he has an overpair to the 2 pairs on the board.
Yeah, I just don't think that outweighs the...
That doesn't outweigh the time he has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you can pinpoint it into
like
something
you're suddenly
like
trying to get value from the queens, that's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad if we're capable of bet folding.
I just don't think your stack lends yourself to that play.
Yeah, just based on pot size, yeah, I was thinking that too.
Okay.
I mean, if that ever were the case, like you would have to bet fold, and I don't know if I like that either. Yeah, I think checking and then reevaluating, like thinking about timing. Yeah, we're all checking here for most of the time. I think. Yeah.
I mean, what do we think he has what's his range at this point?
Well, he could literally have aces or ace king, but here's the problem now with as played. If I'm playing in Brokefinger's shoes, I may at this point in this hand put KB on exactly the hand he has and just rip.
I mean, like you could put him on like 8s through queens. I mean, I don't think we're giving him queens though because we would expect that to be shoved.
Yeah, but
but that range, you're right. I'm with you.
8s, 9s, 10s, jacks, like you can put him on that hand pretty easily here. So I could never fold to this shove on the river.
Same, because in theory, Derek shouldn't have any aces when he checks the river. Because if we had an ace here, we would probably shove pot, maybe bet like small to get called by those middling pairs. But like if I'm Brokefinger, just like Casey said, like I don't think Derek has an ace ever when he checks the river. So I'm gonna shove like 100% here. So yeah, I'm calling too. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but like we have to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a good chance we're losing, but just because of those reasons, as played, you can't fold. And KB's probably going to, but
let's say like for instance, if we played kings this way, where I think if we flatted kings pre, that's a lot better than flatting queens because instead of having 2 overcards, there's 1. Like I could see myself flatting, maybe not against Brokefinger because he's tighter, but in theory, flatting kings, I would probably take a similar line that KB took with kings, and I would call the river as well. So, I mean, kings and queens is basically the same thing. Only difference is with queens, we lose the kings on the river. So yeah, I'm calling.
All right, yeah. So we just to clarify the action for the listeners, we do check broke finger shoves, and it sounds like everybody's agreeing on calling. Diego, you said you're calling as well?
Yeah, I'm calling as well.
Yeah. So we do indeed call. I'm proud to say, and he shows us the 4 of clubs, 8 of clubs, and we win the pot.
I mean, you have to, like, not just because you won the hand, just as played, you have to call because, like Mark says, you just are never checking that river with an ace. So,
yeah,
you know, he makes a good play because a lot of people are going to fold there. It's probably plus EV for him to be shoving there. And I'm not thrilled with calling, but I have to call.
Yeah. It's it's funny. I didn't. True story. I didn't remember the results when I started reading this hand. I knew that I won, but I didn't know what he had. But now, in hindsight, looking back, I can't believe he's 3-betting me with 4 clubs and 8 of clubs, just because I'm such a nit and he knows it. But I guess maybe he thinks I'm going to fold like ace jack suited.
And you said he was in it too. I mean, you're flatting queen, so you probably are folding ace jack suited.
You're probably not a huge nit on your opening range, though, right? Like, you know,
you're 6-handed.
Yeah, you're going to open a decent amount. You're probably more of a nit on your 4-bet range, and that's why it's profitable. 3-bet.
What was his 3-betting range? What was his percent?
6%.
Yeah, like 6% is literally like if you ran it, and it's literally ace queen plus.
Yeah, but I'm just saying maybe it goes up dramatically when he's 6-handed.
And Casey, 100%, and when he has almost 100 big blinds, like absolutely.
Right.
That's why the HUD can be really deceiving.
And you're in a really good spot for him. Like your stack size is like you have to kind of, you kind of have to make decisions. It's he puts you in a tougher spot.
If I have his stack, you're the stack I'm picking on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Diego, really good point. Like 30 bigs is the perfect guy to pick on. 25 to 30ish.
Yep.
Yeah. That is
well played, Derek. Bravo.
Thank you. You'll note I picked all hands that I played perfectly. No.
Actually, just for the record, results-wise, it was perfect, but you played it awful. You should have shoved great.
Although he would have folded.
Oh, look at him, result L.
Yeah.
The guy that bets 6% of the time. I mean, but that's like why, although you have the HUD, you should take a note there. Like, off 90 bigs, he 3-bet me off 32 with 8-4 suited. Like, that's something you should note, which you probably didn't, but whatever.
Yeah.
What about from his perspective? If you play the hand the way he did, the turn, is that the right place to check, or should he have taken the stab for it there?
His line becomes a lot more believable if he bets all 3 streets, and we might trade the river.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
I was going to say I don't mind from his standpoint the check on the turn because he only needs 2 streets to get all the money in anyway, and by checking the turn, he has a chance for me to shove the river. Well, I should say if he has an ace.
Well, he does only need 2 streets to get it in. You're right, but he did overbet the pot. It becomes a lot more believable if he puts 2,100 in on the turn and then 4,500 on the river.
Right. Even if it goes 1,500, how nutty does that look when he jams river?
Sure. Yeah.
As played, I don't think he should ever be bluffing the river. Even though, like...
Well, that play's going to work against a lot of people, Mark.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to work against you or me or... KB when he's drinking.
Yeah, because the same reason we're not folding queens, Casey, is why I wouldn't bluff there. But against, you're right.
Right, but you're better than.
Wait! Hold on, can we replay that?
You're better than broke finger.
Oh.
I'm not sure that's something you want to put on your resume, but you are.
Thank you. No, that was just a compliment. I never get any. I usually get
broke finger. If you're listening, we apologize. Don't unsubscribe.
I don't.
I actually think he's a decent winner. Whatever. Okay, good hand. That was a good one.
Cool. All right, so here is the next hand. This is a $6 rebuy, also on America's Card Room, and we are now out of the rebuy period. It appears. We start the hand with about a little over 12,000 chips, and we're in the big blind with the Jack 6 of hearts. So it folds around to the button.
What are the blinds at?
Oh, I'm sorry, 400, 800.
Oh, so you don't have that many chips.
Yeah, we're a little on the short side.
Okay.
And I kind of picked this hand intentionally because Mark and I have been talking and working a lot on like sort of defending the big blind in a lot of weird ways, and this hand I think kind of demonstrates the kind of weird spots you can get in doing that. So I mean we have like when we start the hand with 16 big blinds, Button is starting the hand with 28 big blinds, so he has quite a few more chips than us. He's running 20-12.
And what's his name?
Mr. Badass.
Okay,
Spoiler alert, he final tabled the main. All right, I stole that from Casey. I'll admit.
So Mr. Badass opens to 1750. And this is kind of like, I think, a good one to actually talk about what we're all doing here. And I kind of want to ask Diego first what he's doing in this spot.
All right, so go through the whole action.
It folds around. It's 400, 800. Folds around to the button, Mr. Badass. He opens to 1750. Small blind folds, and we're in the big blind. Oh, I'm sorry. Small blind also calls, and now we're in the big blind with Jack 6 of hearts.
Well, how much is it to call, and what's in the pot? Were you going to say that, Diego? Sorry.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
It's going to cost us $9.50 to call, and there is. This is kind of weird because it doesn't show me the pot until after I show what I do. So it's going to be about $5K in the pot.
Okay, so we're putting it. So we're getting 5-1 the call.
Okay, so here's my take. I mean, I think I just fold here. I get it. It's not that much more expensive to us compared to what's in the pot. But if the money's going to get in later, there's a good chance you're just dominated anyway. And then with the small blind calling, he probably doesn't have his hand is, his range is probably better than yours because he's not closing the action. So I would fold, shove, or call last. And I know, given the odds, that's maybe wrong, but that's just my take on it.
Shove or call? Isn't that all the options?
No, in order. In order.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would like fold like 90% of the time, like by far. Just get rid of, just move on, because I just think this is too sticky of a spot, even given the odds that you're given.
A lot of the shit you said was right, but the one thing you're forgetting is like when you're getting 5-1, you literally it's probably close with one card,
right.
Just based on the math. I wouldn't think shoving is bad if I thought the small blind was a fish, and if the button was opening like standard 80%. You got to remember though, folded to the button. People are opening it's around you're between 40 to 70% of the time.
Yeah, that's why I like shoving better than calling, because I think I can get.
Yeah, which is fine, but it's nice to have King 6 suited where we have a king blocker, so we took away a lot of the hands they'll call.
King 6, I think I would call actually. I would.
I mean, we should be calling with both, to be honest.
Right.
I wouldn't shove King 6 either. I would just call. It's a better shove than Jack 6 because we block King Queen Ace King shit like that. Jack 6, you're going to do really fine. I think if it was Jack 6 off, I'm still going to call getting 5-1, but it's a lot closer. When we're suited, there's so many boards that we can lead get in or check jam more than you would think, just because of the flush drawouts.
Right.
We're 5-1, we're gonna be profitable for sure.
I'm agreeing with everything Mark says except for I'm folding Jack 6-0.
Yeah, and I think that's up for debate, especially if there's ICM involved. But if we get into that, this podcast will go 12 hours.
Yeah,
you gotta pay for TPE to see the videos to get that.
Right.
Hey, it's true.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, so cool. So sort of a varying different responses from everybody, which I kind of dig. We do go ahead and flick it in. Well, not flick all the chips in. We flick in the call. So there's now 6150 in the pot. In the flop comes Jack 8-3, 2 diamonds, 1 heart, and again we have the Jack 6 of hearts. So we flop top pair, backdoor flush draw, and the small blind checks to us. We now have 10. We have 10.8K in our stack and 6K in the pot.
One thing I wanted to sorry to cut you off. The button opened with just under 30 bigs, so he started the hand with 28 bigs. So his range is wide. The small blind flatted off of under 20, so maybe 15ish. It looks like no, 17ish. Excuse me. So he does I don't know what he's flatting with. So, like, actually thinking about it, I think shoving actually is a decent option because, I mean, like, what's he flatting here? Like, I think his range is really weak, the small blind. Mm-hmm. Or he's just really bad and flatting, like, king, queen, and still I think he folds that to jam. But I think it's important to say the stack sizes was my point.
Yeah. So in my mind, what I'm doing here, or my plan, I guess I'll give my plan first. And it might just be too, like, maybe it's too obvious or too easy. I'm basically going to check, hope that Mr. Badass bets, hope that DC folds, and then I'm just going to jam, like check jam. I don't know if you guys think that's good, bad. It sounds like you might just open jam, Mark.
No.
No, now that you got the jack.
But I'll wait for other people to
I mean, I would do what you just said, Eric, so I'll support you. I'll raise my hand.
That's the line I would take, too. I would check, hope Mr. Badass continuations, hope Dustin Z. Barbero, or whatever his name is, decides to fold, and then Stuffy McGillicuddy.
Okay, so, like, if it wasn't Jack 8 of diamonds, I would call. Like, if it was rainbow, I would call. I think check jamming, we can have 9-10, and, like...
Oh, when it's checked to you on the flop?
No, when the guy bets, I would just call. I wouldn't check jam if it was Jack 8-3 rainbow.
Oh, I see.
But, like, because there's 2 diamonds, I would jam. I mean, I really like that there's a heart on the board because we have backdoor hearts.
I'm just just because of stack, I'm never just calling there.
Even like Jack A3 Rainbow?
Jack 3 Rainbow, and then if Mr. Badass was to bet, say, half the pot, I just think that there's too many scary turn cards. I think I have the best hand a good percentage of the time here. I'm just going to rip it in. If he has 9-10 or diamond draw, I'm okay with it. I think he's going to fold most of the time, so I think the rip's going to be pretty plus EV.
Yeah, no. There's no doubt that it's plus EV. It's like what play is better. And
yeah, I like the rip.
I think on this particular board, like with the diamonds, I like ripping too because we can get called by like 9s and like 8x. I don't think he's going to fold those.
I agree because he can put us on one of those hands too.
Absolutely, but if it's rainbow, there's less draws. So now like we have a much tighter range when we jam. Like we only have 9-10 instead of having a gazillion flush draw combos. I would just flat and let him barrel off in that case. But there's still, I mean, like it's very player dependent. If Mr. Badass is super ag and c-betting like 80% of the time, I still think we can call here with more profit if he's like turn barreling like 60%. But again, like I'm getting into it too much. I would jam as well on the specific board. Yes, I'm on that board.
All right. So unfortunately, Mr. Badass does not cooperate with our plan. So it goes check on the flop. And the turn is a 5 of spades. So now the board is Jack 8, 3, 5, 2 diamonds. Small blind checks again, and now we're sitting here with our top pair. And I'll just go ahead and say that I lead for 2,050 in the 6150. Thoughts?
I'll go first once again because you guys are probably more right than I am. I like it. That's what I would do. I mean, you got to start getting value from this at some point. So I'm good with that.
100%.
Yeah, and your sizing's really good too because you're betting 2K in the 6, and like so you'll have exactly pot on the river.
And it looks stronger when you're betting 2K into 2 people.
Yeah, I like this bet too. I still think you can get called by worse as well. Whereas if you make it like 4K, someone could fold an 8 or 7s or something like that. I'm on team lead as well. I like it.
All right, so we lead for 2,050. Mr. Badass folds, and now the small blind raises to 4,900. To give some people just sort of visuals of the stack. So when he raises to 4,900, that leaves him with 6.6K behind. If we were to fold here, we would still have 8,700, which is 11 bigs. And if we call, we're putting in another 2,900. So we're gonna have like 6K left if we were to call here and fold river.
Did you say if you had any reads or any stats on this guy?
No reads per se, but and I don't have a lot of hands on him. So at this point in the tournament, I had 4. Well, actually, this might be total lifetime. I'm not sure how PT4 tracks that, but I have 47 hands on him only. and he's running 17, 16, 6.
Yeah, I guess he checked first, so it's yeah.
You want me to go first on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. When he raises here, I'm never calling. I guess I might be calling if I'm already committing myself to calling the river shove no matter what. But I just think he's shoving the river almost every single time here. As played, I really don't think you're beat by a lot of hands. You might be beat by 5-5. He literally could have 5-5, but other than that, I think you beat most of his hands. So I'm probably just getting it in on the turn, or folding if for whatever reason I have an instinct that I'm beat, I might fold. But I'm never just calling here unless I'm planning on calling the river shove.
Yeah, I really like what you said. I mean, yeah, if we're ever gonna call here, like, there's never ever any card on the river, I'm always calling river. I'm with jamming as well. If I was going to go with the hand, I would jam as well because there's those draws out there. He could have turned like 4-6, 6-7. Sucks that we blocked that because the board is Jack 8-3-5 and we have Jack 6. So like we block a lot of his draws, which sucks.
He literally has big dogs here. There's no doubt in my mind. But
I mean, it's just really weird. Like, it's really hard to range someone with big dogs when he's flatting in the small blind.
Yeah,
but it is a $6. It's a $6 rebuy. Like, so.
Well, because he's a fish. Like, don't always put people on the same level as you. Yeah. I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make.
I think he can have aces if he's good. He can have overpairs, and like maybe he's bad and he's playing King Jack like this.
You just think he's checking the turn with aces after check.
No, that's why I'm jamming. I think he could, but it's a really weird line to take. I'm just jamming with you.
Yeah, like, you might end up seeing something here like 4-6 of hearts.
Yeah, we block
4 diamonds, 4. Yeah, okay.
No, yeah, like I know it sucks that we have the 6. I wish we had Jack Deuce here now because like I want him to have 6-7.
2-4 of diamonds.
I'm with you though, Case. Like, I won't be shocked if he has like a set. Like this sizing is absurd. Like, this is not the sizing you see with a straight draw. And like, the truth is, he's in the small blind, and like, he's not flatting. He's probably not flatting like 6-7 and stuff like that off this specific stack size.
I think it's a set of big dogs that we win.
I kind of think it's a set. I don't think it has to be big dogs, but I'm not folding. Is that bad? Like, I think we're beat, but I'm getting it in because we block all the straight draws, and he doesn't have any straight combos in his. I mean, he shouldn't, but again, you don't have any hands with him, so it's hard to make that.
Big dogs.
Right. So this is where we start to mess this hand up completely. We call. And
No. Calling isn't bad. Like, it's not the worst. It's
Calling's
just like
not bad as long as you're planning on calling the river. If you not called the river, it's horrible.
Yeah, especially being in position. Calling isn't bad at all.
So on to the next hand then.
Okay, so you fold the river.
So I'll give you my so I agree with everything you guys said. By the way, I think my thinking in this hand was flawed in that I'm just like, what does he check twice that we don't? What does he check twice that we don't beat? And it's basically sets like big dogs.
In theory,
Jack 8 too.
Sorry, in theory he shouldn't have those either, but like it is a smaller buy-in, so he can't.
Yeah, he certainly could. So yeah, I kind of like. I think I'm with you guys on just getting it in, or secondly, like flatting, but always.
No, you're not just getting it in because it says right here calls 28.50.
No, I know. Now I'm with you. Now I'm on team get it. So the river is the 4 of clubs. Now it's Jack 8, 3, 5, 4. We have Jack 6. That's not enough cards for a straight, for those of you who are wondering. We do not have a straight. We still have just that pair. He shoves, and we unfortunately somehow find the full button with 6K in our stack.
Wow. Man.
Was it like the force? I don't know. Like the force scared you? Like.
I honestly, the truth is, I think it took me. I think it literally took me those 2 streets to realize that I was beat, and then I was just like, "Well, I'm an idiot now." Like,
what hand is beating you?
Set of 5s.
I mean,
don't do that.
I mean, you just can't range a person to a set of 5s only.
No, I know. I have to call here on the river, but I think I was just at this point. I'm like, this guy's a little on the tight side. He's
you had some brandy?
Like, I was on my 8th beer. No, that would probably make me call.
I have a question.
I think I just overthought it, and I was just like, I think I in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to compound my mistake on the turn, where I think I was probably beat too.
Yeah, if you fold it on the turn, and like it's whatever. Like,
Right.
Like Casey said, like sometimes you just like you've been playing with a guy for a while, and like, you know, you have a sick read on him where like you could potentially fold here, like no problem. We don't have any read on him.
And then fold the river.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You should probably just immediately start looking for a job.
Luckily, I have one.
Let me ask everyone, like, he's okay. Like, do we think he has 6-7 in his range? 6-7 suited.
Probably not.
Okay. Do we think he has 9-10? More likely than 6-7 is my
Definitely
point.
more likely than 6-7.
That's my only point, and like that alone makes this a call because that bricks the river.
Right, or any 2 diamonds for that matter.
Any 2 diamonds, absolutely. Although, like, I think you and I are on team. Like, he may lead those.
I'm also on team not horrible and shit at poker and folding river.
I think that's an interesting hand, though. I really like that one.
Yeah, I think we do have to call though.
He
The good
didn't
news
go
is
by any chance, did he?
the good news is we won this tournament.
No, you didn't.
I don't
All right,
remember.
can we end the podcast? Are we ending it?
And I don't. No, he doesn't show, unfortunately. So we make the terrible fold and don't ever get to see.
So the 3 people in this pot were Mr. Badass, Dustin Barbero, and Mr. Dumbass.
Yes.
You mean
Sadly,
Killingbird.
That is true. I mean Killingbird.
Good,
All
man.
right.
So you're doing it. No, it's really good. No, you are good, man. That happens to everyone.
Tendler.
So we don't play every hand perfect. All right, let's go on to the third hand here.
Oh, I don't know if I can take another one.
Diego's taking the lead on this one the whole way.
I went first on all the hand. I went first on the whole.
No, I went first the first one. Casey went first in the second one.
Oh my God! You know what's funny?
It's not true.
This hand is from the same tournament. We final tabled it.
Hey, you just said you won it. What were you lying to the people?
Yeah, I was making a joke, but maybe we did. I don't remember now.
No, you didn't.
We at least made it to the final 3 because this hand is 3-handed at the final table.
The guarantee is different. What are you talking about? The first one was a 2K guarantee. The second one is a 1.5K guarantee.
Oh, really? I just thought it was a 6 rebuy. Damn it.
Nice try, man. No, honestly.
All right, we didn't win the tournament, but we do have another hand. So
All right.
This is another 6 rebuy, 1.5K guaranteed. We're 3-handed at the final table, and we are in the small blind with pocket aces. The blinds are 3K, 6K.
I have a question looking at the names of the people. So the guy with the overwhelming chip lead, his name is actually Barrel Fish, right?
Yep.
Does that mean he knows who Daryl Fish is, and would that change our view of him?
I mean, yeah, I think he knows who Daryl Fish is, right? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the guy's name is Barry Fish.
I actually don't know who this person is, but I do know that somebody gave me information that he backs some people, so he's definitely competent.
Okay, right. That's what I'm getting at because he's named. He's done a derivative of
back people in.
A poker player that's pretty successful, but not like, he didn't final table at WSOP main event, so it's not like he's mainstream popular.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
No, yeah, no. I think that's a sick read. Like, I would assume he knows what he's doing.
That's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he isn't a 1,500 guarantee.
Right, that's what I'm trying to get at, too. It's a 1,500 guarantee, so normally I would just think that they don't know what they're doing, but...
Yeah.
I think the guy's name is Barry. His IQ is 11. He thinks he's a fish. You guys are reading too much into that name.
His name is Barry Two Fish.
Yeah,
I read it as Barrel Fish as well, but
Yeah.
Casey could be totally right.
Yeah,
Because
you guys are-
his name is Barry, and his favorite number is 11.
yeah, like I have a buddy named Micker, and he wore 11 in hockey. We call him Micker 11. guy's name is Barry 11. You guys are like barrel fish. He's better.
No, it's too close to barrel.
They're on Team Steak together, and he's a good buddy of his. Like, what are you talking about?
Barrel fish is pretty well known. Like, he's not mainstream, but he's pretty well known.
Yeah. He plays a lot of 50.
And it's kind of a cool name, Barrel.
It's got to be a derivative of Darryl Fish because Darryl's Fish spells his first name Darryll. This guy is Barryll. So he's
eat it.
It couldn't just be that his name's Barry.
But if it was, he would spell it barrel like the real barrel. Why would he make it barrel like Darryl?
Those aren't L's. Those are ones.
No, they're not. Killingbird has a one in his name above it.
Look at the one right below it and in KB.
Look at the L in Killingbird. Oh, yeah, they could be L.
Yeah. All right. The least important thing... so I went first. I'm done. I contributed, right?
That sounds really good. That's the most interesting thing about this hand. You have aces.
All right.
On to the hand.
Okay.
We start the hand with 32 big blinds. Barry Two Fish starts with 77 big blinds. So he's the sort of overwhelming chip leader. Again, we are three-handed at 3K, 6K. Button folds. And we are in the small blind with aces. Mark? Oh, no, Diego's taking the lead.
Give me some details, like what's the dynamic at this point? You're three-handed. You guys must have been playing for a while. He has a huge chip lead, so like, is he pushing you guys around? Have you guys battled?
He's been active, so my numbers on him are 27-20 with a 6% 3-bet.
Yeah, but at the final table, three-handed, like that you kind of have to throw those away and then talk about what's happening in that moment, right?
Yeah, he was definitely active, and like I said, there was somebody in my chat who said, "Hey, by the way, that guy back some people or something."
All right,
so he was definitely good. He was definitely putting pressure on, et cetera, et cetera. I actually do kind of remember that I was trying to do some limps against him, and they. And he was and we were just playing like a decent number of pots that way, but
which is smart, which is bravo, Derek. As second stack, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So we had definitely played some hands together. He was good, but we would just end up he would just always end up having position on me, so that was also getting kind of frustrating when we limped small blind. So yeah, but he definitely competent, definitely good.
Okay.
Not like crazy aggro though. No. And you can tell even at the final table, most of these hands probably came from this final table, and he only has a 6% 3-bet. So it's not like he was super ag 3-better guy. Just active, pre-flop pressure.
Okay.
So yeah, Diego, what are you going to do here with aces?
What is there to do? We're open. What are you asking me?
No,
I guess you're right. I guess I could limp. I guess you're right. I guess you're right. You can limp, but I'm not going to limp. I'm gonna open here. I get your fancy. I get the play.
It's Darryl Fish's buddy. I'm out.
No, it's Barry Greenstein's brother, Barry Fish. We're cousins.
You're right. I jumped to a conclusion there, but I think I'm not going to limp aces in this spot. You're still too deep stacked. I want to give him a chance to play back at me, etc.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Why I don't think we ever limp aces this exact spot. Versus, I would limp aces other spots. He never raised you when you limped, KB. You said he never raised you. So, if he raised you, it's a good spot to, limp call, limp raise, whatever. But, yeah.
Never limp aces. Raise the hand.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. You actually don't make it 11,299. I wanted to just tell you, it's add 3,000 to that.
Yeah, how could you make it 11,299?
Yeah, he makes it 14,299. I figured it out already.
Okay.
Wait, I haven't even said what I raised yet, did I?
Oh yeah. You know what? We're not being clear to the people who are listening. So go ahead, give the hand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Give the hand action, KB, and then I'll respond.
Okay, so yes, we do decide to open to 14,299.
Okay, so you're at 3K, 6K. The button folds. You're in the small blind. You make it 14,299.
Yep.
Okay.
And Barrelfish calls.
It's good sizing. 2.5x. Perfect.
Yep. Seems decent. All right.
Yep.
Flop is 766 rainbow.
Okay, so I would lead.
All right. Everybody else leading here all the time?
Every time.
What's the pot size here? Just curious,
30, basically 31K.
31K. I'd probably make it 14.
Smaller.
What's that, Mark?
I would bet smaller.
Yeah, like 13, 14 is probably what I would bet.
I think the sizing is fine.
Yeah, it's the loop point. Yeah,
Okay, well, I would bet 13, 14. KB bets 15.4, which everyone seems fine with.
Yeah.
And then what happens, Derek?
And then Barrelfish makes it 32.3K. So basically min raises us?
Pretty close.
A little over a min raise, I guess, like slightly over.
Right. Okay, so my options here are to call or raise. And let me think for a second. I mean, I would probably just raise to induce, like, make it like 56 or something along those lines to make it seem like I could fold, and then hopefully he shoves with his, if he has a draw. I guess the counter to that is to, now that he's taking control, let him try to bluff later if he doesn't have us beat here, but I don't want to just go. I don't know. It just seems like that's making a lot of
call to me, because raising to try and get him induced is you accomplish the same thing and make your hand look weaker by just calling,
right?
Because you're going to induce. He's going to induce it. Raising to induce and checking to induce on the turn are the exact same thing, except for checking to induce on the turn. It looks weaker than raising to induce on a 4-bet raise.
Because he probably, I guess my assumption is that he would shove if he's bluffing, but I guess we're making it small enough that he could just call profitably and see what happens in the turn. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I'm never beat at this point.
Right.
I doubt he's raising a 6 on the flop.
Right.
So I want to allow him to continue with this hand. I don't want to push him out because I feel like my hand's good every single time. And a raise may do that if it doesn't induce. It seems like a call every single time.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, like I'm with Casey 100% here, which pains me. He's gonna have he can have total air here. It's a paired board. Like he's gonna have a lot of 9, 10s, 8, 9s, 4, 5s, all that kind of stuff. But why not just let him? He's gonna keep barreling those.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
And we're dead when he has a 6. I mean, that's not why I'm calling. It's more to let him bluff.
I just don't feel like he has too many 6s in raising on the flop.
I agree. But that makes calling that much better.
Yeah.
Right.
Just times. But I mean, we're never gonna fold unless the run out's bad. The only hand I would raise get in here, because I wanted to just play devil's advocate, is 8-9, and that's whatever. We're open ended and we have 2 overs to the 7. That's the only hand I would raise get in on this specific board. I wouldn't I would just call 4-5. Yeah, and even a 6, I'm just gonna call and just let him barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so my thoughts are pretty similar to you guys. I don't think he ever does this with I shouldn't say ever. I don't think he often does this with a 6. I don't think he does it with a full house, and we beat everything else.
Yeah,
so,
fair.
I'd rather just give him a chance to continue bluffing. And there's really no turns that we hate very much. I mean, I guess a 5.
Oh no, there's a lot of turns we hate.
Yeah, 5 or a 10 we hate.
I mean, we hate an 8, we hate a 9. I mean, there's a shit ton of turns. He can do this with 8-10. This is a really good board to check raise with 8-10.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, no, there's a shit ton. There are, you couldn't be more off there.
Yeah.
There's a ton of turns we hate, but that doesn't mean we need to raise. It's
Not a ton. There's 3 turns we hate.
I mean, we don't like a 7, we don't like an 8, we don't like a 9, we don't like a 4, we don't like a 5, we don't like a 10. That's a lot.
I'm kind of okay with the 4. I don't think he has 5-8 that often, but yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's the same thing as 8-9.
But there's more than I was thinking in my head that we hate. That's
yeah. No, this is there's plenty.
Yeah. All right, so we do just call. So now there is 95.5K in the pot. We have 144K back. The turn is the 4 of diamonds. So now it's 7-6-6-4 with 2 diamonds. And we are first act. Diego, what you do?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I would follow through with the plan. I let him, check and let him bet.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
All right. Mark?
Yeah, team check.
We check. He makes it 38.7K. So he's it's not that. I was going to say it's on the smaller side, but it's not that small. 38, basically 39K and the 95K.
What's that put in the pot?
That's going to put about 95, about 158K.
58K.
40?
40, and we And we have 140?
Yeah.
It's going to put 156K in the pot, is it not?
95 plus 38, whatever that equals.
Well, you're both putting in 38.
Oh, I thought Mark was asking what that makes the pot with just.
No, just after when he bets. Casey.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. Okay, so he bets 38K. What's everyone doing now?
Let me get the hang of that. Hold on.
I mean, I'm calling.
So wait, how much is left behind?
We have 144K behind.
Yeah, I just call.
Okay. I'm calling as well, but like I'm okay jamming here as well because I think a 7 always calls us. Like Casey was saying, he was like 5-8 is probably one of his out of the straight draws, 5-8 is probably least likely to raise this board just because it's 1 over. We're 8-9, like 2 overs to 7, whatever. So like I'm not too scared about the 4, and like he's betting 40K, and you said there was like 98K or something.
Yeah, 38 in the 95.
So I wouldn't hate a jam just to get the call from the 7 because like there's a lot of bad cards, but I also want to keep him bluffing, and like I don't know if he's going to call us with 8-9. I certainly don't think he's going to call us with 8-10. Yeah, so I'm on team call, but I wouldn't hate shoving. Casey, do you hate shoving here?
No, I don't hate shoving, but I'm team call here.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Just one.
All right, so we do just call, and now there's 173K in the pot. The river is the 9 of clubs.
Hate that river.
Yeah, the board just kind of keeps getting worse and worse. So now the final board is 7, 6, 6, 4, 9. No flushes come in, but obviously lots of other stuff.
Well, 10-8 is a hand he could have played exactly like this with the raise on the flop, and not out of the realm of possibility. 9-9. Not a great river. I don't see how you fold to his river shove.
Yeah, so we check and Barry does shove, and I'm with you, Case. Like, what's he doing with 8-9? Like, and 9-10, now where he hits top pair. Like, he's going to jam that as well. Like, I'm not in love with it, but, like, we can't fold. Like, there's too much shit we beat now. Yes, the 9 is one of the worst. I mean, 9 and 4 are horrible cards.
I don't really hate the 4 that much. I know 5-8 is definitely possible. It's just it doesn't feel like I'm beat on that card. It feels like the 9 could be a fucking knife right to my heart.
I mean, 3-5 gets there with the 4. Like, he could have, like, 3-5.
Yeah, but I don't think he's raising too many 3-5s on the flop.
It's certainly not a bad raise, but like, yeah, I'm not sure he is either. That's very player dependent, but it's definitely not a bad raise, especially if he has backdoor flush. But yeah, I hate the 9 too, but I'm still not folding.
For raising pair of boards, he does only have a gutty and 2 unders. I just don't think it's 3-5 that often. It's more likely 5-8, but I really feel like if you beat, it's 10-8.
Yeah, but he certainly has hella 9s too, like 9-8,
sure.
10-9.
He has 8-9 here. I feel like he's going to jam that river. So just based on that alone, you got to call.
Yeah.
Yep. You agree, Diego?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do call. I'm happy to report. And he shows us Jack 8 offsuit.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, like, and I don't hate his raise and barrel on the turn, and like the bet. I mean, his line is actually good. Like, I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's not bad at all. Like, the 9 is a bad card. Like, if you have a 7, you're folding here every single time on the river. Like, you would play a 7 exactly like this. You would bet, you would call his raise, you would check call the turn, and then you would check fold the river, I'm sure, with a 7. And most of us probably would. Like, the 9 is a really bad card, but, like, aces is different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't hate his line for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm never against raising paired boards, small blind to big blind. So I don't hate his line either. But with the way we played it, we got off-ball chips, obviously.
Yeah, and this is the reason why, like, going back to the flop, like, he has so much air in his range that, I mean, calling is just way better than raising.
Yeah, I just don't think he's raising a 6 there too often. For the same reason you're flatting his raise with aces is the same reason he's flatting your bet with a 6.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that's what I thought was kind of interesting about this hand was, like, more so the many different options. Because I think a lot of people would have raised at some point either flop or turn with aces, I think. At least I would have 5 years ago for sure. I'd be like, oh my god, he could have 5-8. I need to get rid of him before a 4 comes on the turn, because I would be panicking. But yeah, I kind of liked the way I played this one, actually.
It's interesting what Casey said. One thing I want to say, Dylan and I filtered on Hold'em Manager. We filtered paired boards when we got check raised, which is a bit different than this. And we only did the ones where we got the showdown. And out of like the 30 or 40 we looked at, like I'd say maybe like 10%, 15% of them were trips. The rest of them were all straight draws and complete bluffs, which I just thought it was really interesting to see. Like, so yeah, it kind of makes what Casey said accurate. Like, people just aren't raising a 6 here very often.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard for you to have something when he has a 6.
That's right.
Yeah, very true.
Well,
cool.
Well played. He played a hand well.
Yeah, I mean, compared to that last hand, it gives me a little bit of hope that he's not the worst fish in the world.
No, barrel fish.
Okay.
Sorry, Barry Two Fish.
I got two out of 3 were okay played, I guess. Meh.
Well, I mean, the Queens was a shove pre, so it was 1 out of 3. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Showered real quick.
Dang it. I was so proud of myself, too. All right, you guys want to do one more hand?
Sure.
All right, so we have one more hand from a member, King's Full. Diego, do you want to run through this one?
Sure. Okay, so this is... I don't know what the buy-in is. It's a 20K. It's a Saturday 6-pack. Any idea what this would be, KB?
That's right after the Saturday warm-up 12-pack.
I'm actually not sure the buy-in on this. I think it might be $55.
All right. Sounds
but I'm not
right.
actually 100% positive.
For a 20K on American site, that like a promo named tournament, that sounds about right, $55. All right. So assume it's a $55 20K guarantee. King's Full has 35K at 36K roughly at 175 350. So he's super deep. He's got by far the most chips at the table, nearly over 100 big blinds. He is, let's see here. Can we tell what position he's in? He's in late position. I think it looks like he's in the cutoff.
Yeah,
new regs in the big line.
Yeah, okay. All right, so he has a pair of 7s. Once again, it's 175 350. It is opened to 700 by Under the Gun +2, Pocky Germ. I don't know.
I know something about him. Should I say it or should I just leave it?
Well, we're going to assume King's Full doesn't know something about him.
Okay, yeah. So there's
so we got to play it from his perspective. Then Under the Gun, the next player over, Wet Moose calls, just flats.
Oh, Wet Moose.
Then it comes to King's Full, and he just flats.
Wait, what did Poppy Chulito do?
He folded. Poppy Chulito folds, and then it's to King's Full in the cutoff. Stack sizes for the two people who are in the pot. Pachyderm has 9,000 chips, so he's roughly 28, 27 big blinds, and Wet Moose has 10.6K, so he's got
the big blind 13 new reg 13 also called.
Well, I wanted to stop at what we should do here as King's Full.
Bad.
Yeah. So as King's Full, our options here are obviously not folding. Our options here are to call or to raise. So I don't know.
There's no option here. It's a call.
Right. Okay. Well, yep. Just want to put it out there for you guys to say that. Okay. Mark, you agree?
Yeah. I mean, like, the only situation where I would want to 3-bet get this in is if, like, I knew the opener was super aggressive and the flatter was a fish. But, like, I want to call here, let the big blind in, flop a set, and play a big pot.
Yeah, I assume, Derek, you're good.
And like, he's opening Under the Gun, too.
I want to play a lot of pots with Wet Moose.
Okay.
Not Poppy Chulito?
Well, he's already folded. So.
He folded. So.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
All right, so then it folds around to the big blind, and he calls the 350, so he completes. Okay. All right, so now we go to a flop 4-handed, and the flop is a 3-7-3. No double suited there. So now we flopped the nuts. at least for oh, no, I guess not the nuts, but a full house.
The second nut.
The second nuts, and the big blind new 13 new reg 13 checks, Pocky Germ checks, and Wet Moose comes at us here with a bet of 21.94. I don't know how much is in the pot, but it looks like
it's a pretty big. I mean, there's 28.
Yeah, it looks like a big bet.
Like there's probably 3K, so he's betting like two. It's probably 2/3 button.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we get led into with a pretty big 2/3 bet.
4,000 in the middle.
4? Really?
Well,
No.
7, 14, 21, 28 plus antes. There's 35 maybe.
35, right? That sounds right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess okay. So.
I mean, whatever. This is just an easy call.
Yeah. All right. So.
Because if he was deeper, we could think about doing something else. But like he's not. He started the hand with 10K. He's betting 2 with already 700 and just called.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the point. I agree, but reasoning why is what you said there. I assume Casey and Derek, you're on board here.
I fold.
Guys clearly got quads.
Yeah.
I'd call 100% of the time.
Okay. Yep. And so Kingsfold does call. The big blind calls, interestingly, and the original opener, Pocky Germ, folds. So now we're going three-handed. We're thinking here 62, 66 plus 35, so there's roughly 10K in the pot now?
11.
11? Okay. 11.
No, your math is better.
Right.
Your math is way
10
better.
more.
Yeah.
So roughly 10K in the pot, and it's the King of Hearts. Putting 2 hearts on the board, and the guy who just called the big blind, new reg 13. Now he leads. This is an interesting hand.
I know. I remember. Okay, so just a little setup. He sent me this hand probably a month ago or something,
Right.
and was just like, "Hey, will you look at this?" And I remember looking at it and going, "Oh, we flopped a full house. Seems like a pretty easy, straightforward hand." This is where it gets really weird, and the more I thought about it, the more confused I was about it. So yeah, but I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about the rest of this.
I mean, it's unusual action. I don't think I'm not gonna fold, but I guess I don't see what everyone else says. But it's just unusual to see it go down this way.
Okay, well I'm excited about this.
All right, so new reg bets 3,200 into the 10K. Wet Moose actually folds, and now
who was the original
leader, right? So he's just taking a stab on the not a bad stab either. Taking a stab on the flop. So his gig is up, and new reg bets, like I said, now it's up to us after Wet Moose folds.
Okay, so he's betting 3,200.
Yep.
He's already invested roughly 3K, so now 6,200. So he has 10K back, and he's betting 3,200 in the 10K. So if we were deeper, like this really looks like a 3 to me. Like this is a really good lead with a 3. Like the King of Hearts, like is a card, like is just a card that people flat with. Like I'm not saying we're gonna float with King X, but Wet Moose could be c-betting King Queen. It brings a flush draw. It's also a good lead with 4-5 if it's head up, not 3-way.
Right.
I'm like dead certain this is a 3. Like I mean, like not dead certain, but I really feel like this is a 3. Like his sizing just screams a 3 because he's setting up a perfect like riverside shove. Like this is
So
it looks like
it's a 3. Do you just shove because you know he's never folding a 3?
I would, in theory, like, yeah, we could do that, but I think I'm still going to get it all on the river. So, like, in case he had, like, 8-9 of hearts that he floated and now he's leading, I'm going to let him just continue to do that, like, and bluff the river. So I would just call. But to me, this sizing looks a lot more like a 3, for whatever it's worth.
Right.
And it's really just a sizing thing.
Yeah.
But certainly he should have 8-9 of hearts and stuff in his range, 4-5 of hearts, and those are all good leads.
Yeah, and I'm with Mark. I would call for just the small amount of times where it's a bluff. But I also think we probably do get it all. But even if it's 10% of the time where he's like, "Oh, I was bluffing, I fold." I'd rather just give him a chance since we do have position. I'd rather just give him a chance to fire the river.
I mean, who knows? This guy could be horrible, too. I want him just to hang himself. But, his sizing is really good. He went out of his way and typed in 3-2-9-1 in the 10K. I don't know. It just really I mean, it just looks like a 3. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, because you have position, it's got to be a call. I was just curious if Mark was...
Absolutely, yeah. But, I mean, now that I'm looking at the river, I want to shoot myself.
Well, okay, so let's get to that. So Kingsfold does call, so he agrees with y'all. And the river is a 3. So now he's first to act. So there's the board is 3-7-3, King 3. 3 3s on the board.
And it's the backdoor flush, too.
And it's the backdoor flush.
But, it's still 3 3s on the board, so...
Yeah, you just can never fold to a shove, though.
Yeah. So and new reg does shove. So now it's up to us.
See, what do you beat though, Case?
Well, what if he has a flush draw?
He's not jamming a flush on this board. Can he really jam a flush with 3 3s when we're calling? I can't.
If you want to put him on the single card that has us beat, and I'm sure since he sent this hand to KB, he has the 3 and we are beat. But in my mind, I'm just never folding to the one card that beats me when I'm getting this odds because I'm going to be right often enough to. What if he has 10s?
I mean, he's like.
What if he has 10 queens?
Okay. Let me explain why I don't think he has 10s.
Okay.
10s, he's just going to flat fine, I get it. And then he's going to call, flop goes bet, call, he overcalls, and then he's just going to lead the King of Hearts 1/3. Not buying it. Buying.
What if he has King Queen? He just floated the flop.
I can dig King Queen. I just kind of doubt it because it went bet call. But yeah, King Queen's a possibility. Yeah,
I mean, if I'm playing and he sent this hand to KB, so it's clear that he has the 3, and then we're beat.
Yeah,
I think it's a call. Are you folding here?
I think if I'm playing my best, I doubt it. But if I'm able to play my best, and if I know this guy's good, if I knew this guy was good, and I played with him a lot, I would absolutely fold. But I can't make that read. You know what I'm saying? I can't make that. Casey, are you kidding me? If you're playing me here, you're going to call me on the river when I jam? There's no way you would call me. I literally never have King Queen here. Ever. If you're playing me, I never would float King Queen 3-way. It's just not something
I would do. If I was playing you would have been out hours ago.
This is what I thought was interesting is what Mark's saying. I just have a hard time giving him King Queen or Ace King for that. Ace King especially, but even King Queen.
Well, I don't give him Ace King.
I just don't know if he's going to float it 3 ways very often.
But he could have 4-5, in 5-6, and we beat those heads. And is he
close on the river?
I don't know because it's the king is a really good card to bluff. I guess because it's an over to the board. I mean, it's not a really good card to bluff, but
what if he has King 7?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, we blocked 2 7s though, so I mean it's highly unlikely, obviously. I mean, yeah, I think Casey...
there's hands he's shoving that we beat.
Okay, I'm just saying this, Casey. If this is against me, I don't think you're calling. You will not call me
profitable. At the beginning of this hand, we said we're not having any reads on the guy.
We have no reads on him. So you're right. We can't fold. We can't.
Just because it's a 3-2, and I'm not saying it's not because it's clearly a 3. But I'm just saying with no reads, no nothing, we have to call here.
Yeah, I wish there was a way. I agree. Him sending the hand probably changes. Even though I wasn't thinking that subconsciously, that probably had something to do with it. But, seriously, what does he have that we beat here? This is a shit run out to bluff with 4-5. And he's not value jamming a flush.
But every single one of us has played those hands, and we're like, what does this guy have here? It doesn't make any sense. I have to be, you know what? Fuck it. Call. And then he has, the worst hand you've ever seen, and you'd be like, what?
I think what's weird to me is that this hand is sort of the opposite to me in that it makes complete sense.
Because his sizing on the turn is so good. His sizing on the turn is a thing of beauty. It's perfect. With a 3, and we should be leading this 3 because a king is a card that people are gonna If Wet Moose has 10s a lot of the time, he's just going to check here, and we're going to check back 8s. It's a really good spot to build the pot with a 3.
Right.
This is a spot I would be leading a 3 100% of the time, and I would do it as exact sizing. Huh?
I totally get everything you're saying.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's the fold.
And I agree with you. I don't think I can fold because I don't know who 13 new reg, 13 is.
Right.
But if it was a guy I had a lot of like I played with a lot, like a good reg, I think I could fold here. I couldn't sleep at night, but like I totally could because nothing else makes sense.
Right. I'm not.
But we don't know this.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in the vacuum with no reads, no nothing, I need to call here every single time.
Yeah, with no reads, I agree. Oh, God, but that sizing on the turn is like that means he's good. You know what I'm saying? Like his sizing on the turn.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. His sizing is nutty, but I need to call.
But like, if I can decipher that, I think his sizing means he's a good player. Why can't we fold the river? Like, what is he betting with here on the turn? 3K and the 10.
Because I'm telling you that because his sizing looks so nutty, and we've decided he's a great player. Maybe he knows his sizing's so nutty.
I mean, he's not going to try to rep quads, though. That's absurd.
Okay? So you're saying
I mean, that would be,
I'm saying I never do. No.
That would be actually super sick if he was trying to rep quads.
That would be sick.
Because, yeah, that would be sick.
I'm just saying I never find a fold in a vacuum.
Yeah, I think it's very... God, his sizing on the turn. His sizing on the turn. It's just sizing on the turn. Yeah, I'm not folding either.
Don't get me wrong. I think he has the 3-2. Like, I totally agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah, and, like, if this was a really good player that I had... Whatever, I already said that. I would fold. But, like, yeah, I don't know this guy, so I'm calling.
I was trying to debate... I was trying to debate if I should tell you earlier that King's Full folded so that you wouldn't assume that the guy has a 3 because he sent me the hand. Because King's Full did fold. And he sent it to me and he goes, do you think this is the worst fold I've ever made in my life? And I'm like, and at first I was like, well, yeah. And then the more I read it, I was like, oh my God, this guy really has a 3, like 90% of the time.
Does King's Full use a HUD?
I believe he does because he's like plays a lot, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But yeah,
do you recognize 13 new reg?
I don't know. That name does not ring a bell to me.
So we don't know if this guy has a 3.
Nope.
Motherfucker.
We'll never know. Unless 13 new reg 13 is listening and he can let us know.
Yeah. But that's happened before too.
Yeah, yep, it does. So
yeah, but I mean the truth is Casey says it right. Like just because his sizing looks good doesn't mean he's a good player. Like we have to call. But I bet you King's Full has reasoning why he folded. Like he played with this guy, he was tight, something like that. Otherwise, there's no way you could ever fold.
We all have to make those crying calls sometimes when we have a monster hand and think we're beat, but just because we know that there's just not a lot of hands to beat us. There's 2 hands to beat us here.
And I mean, I think there's a chance he can have 4-5 and 5-6. To be honest, like I think those are like getting the price he's getting out of the big blind. He has all the 3s, all the 7s, even though there's 1. Okay. He has 5-6. He has 4-5. He has 4-6.
I know we have 2 blockers, but if he has King 7, he might play it exactly like this.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like really unlikely. So like.
Sure it is, but so is quads.
Yeah, but as played, like I honestly think like just as played the action, I would say 3x is more likely than King 7 as played.
100% agree. I'm just saying he can have King 7.
You can't roll it out. Can't roll it out. You're right. 100%. Yeah. God, man, can we find out? I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to play the hand well. Great hand.
Yeah, really great hand.
Fun.
Glad we did that one.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting. So I figured even though we were doing beat up on Derek Day, I thought we would beat up on King's Full for a minute too. Although I think one thing I think that's interesting or worth saying is that even if we would all call and we think he should have called, I think there's something to be said for the fact, even if folding was a mistake, the fact that he's thinking that much about the range and coming to a pretty maybe a pretty good conclusion. Well, a lot of people would just be like, I have a full house.
Yeah. There's thought process there at least.
Yeah, at least he's thinking about it.
If he folds. His stack is still pretty good if he folds. So, maybe it was the greatest fold ever. I don't know. But I'm just saying I don't fold here ever. I just don't. You got to remember my image, too. People do crazy shit to me all the time.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'm just saying, like, I think it's good that our members are like thinking through spots like this, maybe deeper than the average Joe would, you know?
Yeah, well, that's why you should be a member of Tournament Poker Edge, so you can.
I'm not going to be able to sleep for a month and a half over this hand. Thank you, King's Full.
See, Mark was so confident that this guy had a 3 that he made a big stand, and now that we don't know the hand, he's like, fuck, Casey was right. We need to call there.
No.
You're short.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Well, those were some fun hands tonight. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Really nice
stuff.
Yeah, it was good times.
Cool. Well, I guess we should wrap it up. I've had enough of all of you.
Jeez.
Everybody go to ppipoker.net, put in your email address, get ready for something exciting.
Check it out, everybody.
Everybody, check out Mark's Twitter for pictures of his
His dramatic body transformation.
Cool. Thanks, Mark and Casey. Appreciate you
my
guys joining us.
esophagus.
Good.
Yeah, I got to go actually drink some hot tea to help soothe my esophagus now. Tough times out here in Marin County.
Yep. The streets are hard.
Do it.
Cool. Well, thanks again, guys, and we'll probably see you hopefully back here for the main event podcast at some point. So.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
And we will take a quick break here, and we'll come back and wrap things up on the Tournament Poker Edge.
Don't let them tell you what you think is cool. Don't let them tell you what you think is right. Don't let them tell you what you think you should do. How to sleep at night. Yeah. Do you recognize when the world won't stop for you? Or when your days don't care what you got to do? Or when your weight's too tough to lift up? What do? They don't choose for you. Don't let them choose. Recognize when the world won't stop for you. Or when your days don't care what you got to do. Or when your weight's too tough to lift up? What do? Don't let them choose for you. That's on you. Yeah. Another day, another dime. Another state, another mind. 48 moves to choose, but no matter the coast, we all toast the same PBR. So much settling for ours. There's so many lives and so many lines waiting. There's only so much time, so many die patient. So many skate only where the ice is thin. We too nice to not dive in right after them. We too right to not sway a little wiggle from the path. Middle up, foot up on the gas like the past is the rear view. Last laugh lands on the man with the plan to do all that he can to do all that he can. And we all save face in the face of our friends. And we all bend backwards to make amends. And we all take chances that change us. Simple with yourself, hate just won't do. Recognize when the world won't stop for you. Or when the days don't care what you got to do. Or when your weight's too tough to lift up. What do? They don't choose for you. Don't let them choose. Recognize when the world won't stop for you. Or when your days don't care what you got to do. Or when your weight's too tough to lift up. What do? Don't let them choose for you. That's all you. A lot of my friends shake when they don't drink. All my friends wheeze and they sleep. All my friends think green but can't afford to live it. Can't ignore the cynics. Can't explore the gimmicks. Can't report the dividends. Limited only by the need to stay fed. And giving up is like Latin. It's dead. It don't happen. Don't even cross the head. Lost in our own web, but it's our bed. Sleep sucks. Or at least until I try. At least until I'm right. But at least until I'm fly. Let me get it on time. But at least until it's mine. But at least until it's time. Let me set them up and knock them down. Come on. But at least until I'm fine. But at least until I'm...
Welcome back to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Thanks to Mark and Big Dog, as always, for joining us for a little strategy talk.
Always good.
It's always great to get those two together in particular.
Yeah.
We actually had Mark on with Chris Kusha on the last episode too, but people literally have been demanding a Mark Casey reunion on the podcast, so we figured, well, might as well just give it to him now and silence the masses.
It did not disappoint. It had a lot of ribbing and a lot of good poker strategy, so I think that's what we do there with them.
Yeah, it was cool. I thought my hands were interesting. Obviously, there were hands that I've sort of delved into in my brain already, so like some of the mistakes I think I was already aware of, but I actually kind of thought that King's Full's hand was the most interesting of them all.
Yeah, it really was. It was a great hand to talk about.
Yeah, I love that stuff. So for people out there who are interested, I mean, post hands in the forum. We often pull hands from there. Like, so if you're interested in having a hand reviewed on the podcast, like the thing to do is to go in there and post stuff. And if it gets a lot of discussion in particular, we'll pull it and put it on the podcast. So,
yep. Cool.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on at TPE.
Yeah, some good stuff going on. I think the biggest news is Jace Regina shipped a WCOOP event.
Super stoked for him.
Huge one. What was the buy-in on that one?
It was a 109, 1 million guarantee.
How many people were in that?
That's a big old field. I guess that. I mean, I don't know what it got over the million guarantee, but I guess so. It had to have at least 10,000 people in it.
Yeah.
Am I doing my math right? Yeah.
That's so gigantic.
Yeah, isn't that insane? Especially I know we cry about not being able to plan stars all the time, but for us, that's just unfathomable.
Yeah, that one is
10,000 people.
That one really hurts to hear about because I would love to do. I would just love to do that,
especially at that buy-in level. Yeah, I mean, we get $1 million guarantees here now, but they're $500.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. He's got a 7-part series running right now, which is awesome. And I think the other series that's coming up that I'm also looking forward to, speaking of WSOP and running during the SOP, is Andrew Brokas's. He does a hand history review of his WSOP. So obviously he doesn't have a camera running while he's playing at the WSOP, but he took his notes and then he put them into a presentation format, and he's done this before with other live tournaments. And I love this format with him. I get a lot out of him. I watch him every time. He just talking about the live game is really compelling. Listening to Andrew talk about it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really cool series. Not only because that obviously the cachet of the World Series and what it means to go deep in that. Although I actually don't know how deep he went, to be honest. I guess
he didn't. Yeah. I think he talks about it early. I mean, he didn't make a deep run. But
he traditionally has,
yes.
So he knows sort of. I guess we'll find out. But I think he knows the sort of way to play that tournament.
Yeah.
In a way that sort of values tournament life, exploits the exact kind of players that are in that event.
Yeah.
I mean, because I forget the number, but hasn't he cashed 7 times or something ridiculous, or 6 times?
Something like that. And I think it was 4 out of 5 years or 5 out of 6 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a fun series to listen to watch. So lots of good series running right now. So it's all good. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and again, congratulations, obviously, to Jace on shipping a WCOOP. That's a dream come true for most poker players.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to see it, and you'll get to. All you members out there will get to see it in the coming months on TP. If you're not a member, now would not be a bad time to sign up.
Yeah. If you want to see how a WCOOP champion does it, come over.
Yeah, and I think the final table will be interesting. I'm not going to say anything, obviously, because I don't want to give any spoilers, but I was watching the final table live, not actually seeing his cards, obviously, because I was just watching on the PokerStars site. But, it should be an interesting one. There's some good players at the table, and fun things happen. So.
Yeah, and just to be clear, he's actually running a series right now that is not this tournament. But you can get a peek into the mind of Jace and how he plays. And learn a lot. He's one of our best rated new pros. But then I think we'll talk to him about doing this one as a hand history review. But down the road. But yeah, so he actually does have a good timing. He has a series running right now, which is great, and he has some good videos too. So that's the main stuff. So that's some of the stuff going on there at TP.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I know I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully everybody out there is as well. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the podcast. I know I did.
Yep. It was great talking to everyone again. And we should be back around the main event final table, which is earlier this year than normal for everyone who's planning to watch it. If you don't know, because of the election, it's usually the first week of November. Because of that, they pushed it up. So I think the final table is the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st of November. October 30th, the 31st of October, and the 1st of November. So we'll be back around then, either right before or right after. Probably right after we see what the tournament, what happens in the tournament.
Yeah, I think we do one right after, and we'll obviously pull some hands from it to talk about.
Yep.
And we'll see who we can get in for that. Maybe we'll try to get Brocus on for that one.
Yeah, maybe Brocus. Maybe we could try to see if Chris wants to come back on, since he might have played with some of those players. See how that goes.
Good point. Yeah, that would be interesting actually. Or maybe Dylan. So many opportunities.
Dylan actually. Dylan made the run too. So those are all good points. So so we'll stay tuned. We'll be back soon with a WSOP broadcast.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks again to Mark and Casey for joining us. As always, thank you to everybody out there for listening, and thank you, Diego.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Fine occasion. We will talk to you all very soon back here on the next episode of the Tournament Poker Edge podcast.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Lock in intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. I wanna roll with her, a hot pair we will be. While little gambling is fun when you're with me. Russian roulette is not the same without a gun. And baby, when it's love, it's not rough, it isn't fun.